My name is Tessa Moore. I'm 28 years old, and this is how I took revenge on the man who said I'd never survive without him. It was 2 a.m., and I was parked in front of his apartment building, engine off, headlights dimmed. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, but I couldn't move. The world felt too loud and too quiet all at once. Mascara streaked my cheeks like war paint, and the blue light of my phone screen was the only thing illuminating the dark mess I'd become. I kept rereading his last message, the one that broke me in a way I didn't know was possible. You'll regret losing me. You're nothing without me. Nothing. That word echoed in my skull, dull and brutal like a punch I didn't see coming. Just 48 hours earlier, I thought I was engaged in the slow, quiet work of building a life with someone who loved me. I was wrong. He didn't just leave. He detonated our entire relationship and walked away from the flames holding another woman's hand. She showed up on his feed within days, all glossy lips and filtered smiles, like I had never existed. And the captions, finally with someone who gets me. Real love feels different. He wanted me to see it. Every detail felt like it had been curated to humiliate me, and now, here I was, small, humiliated, and alone in the dark, clutching my phone like it could reverse time. But the pain wasn't just from what he did. It was what he said, you're nothing without me. Not we didn't work. Not I'm sorry. Just that. A statement. A verdict. Like he believed it. Like he knew it. And for a second, maybe I believed it too. But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. Once you're there, you stop falling, and something sharp and alive starts to grow in the wreckage. So I wiped my face with the sleeve of the sweatshirt he left behind, opened my camera app, and took a long look at myself. Not the wreck he wanted me to be, the woman who would learn how to rise. That moment, me. Mascara streaked and heart splintered at 2 a.m. That wasn't the end of my story. That was the start of my revenge. Let me tell you how I got here. How one man's ego, one breakup text, and one night in my car became the fuel for something bigger than heartbreak. Because he was right about one thing. I'd never be the same after losing him, but not for the reason he thought. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place with one main street, a high school football obsession, and neighbors who knew what you had for dinner. My mom raised me on her own. She worked nights at the hospital and still managed to pack my lunch every morning. She was gentle but fierce, soft-spoken but unshakable. We didn't have much, but she gave me everything that mattered. Love, honesty, and room to dream. I was always the quiet one. While other kids played outside, I sat on the porch with a sketchbook, drawing gowns from magazine clippings, creating little paper worlds. Fashion wasn't just fabric to me. It was how I imagined freedom. I used to tell my mom, one day, I'll design dresses in New York. She'd smile, press her palm to my cheek, and say, then you better draw fast, baby. So I did. After college, I packed my life into 2 duffel bags and moved to New York City with a half-paid internship in fashion marketing and a studio apartment the size of a closet. I worked days at a boutique agency and nights waitressing, designing when I could, surviving off instant noodles and raw ambition. It was hard, but it was mine. I was making it. Then I met Liam. I was 24, standing in line for a gallery opening in Soho. He offered me his umbrella when it started to rain, and I didn't give it back for 4 years. Liam was 5 years older, tall, clean-cut, full of confidence but never arrogant. Or so I thought. He ran a tech startup and talked about his ideas like they were revolutions. Everyone around him laughed louder, stood straighter, leaned in closer. And he picked me, told me I was different, that I had a fire in me he hadn't seen before. And I fell. Hard, at first. It was magic. He took me to dinners in places I couldn't afford. Introduced me to people who returned my emails just because I was with him. He always made sure I was standing right next to him, hand on my lower back, like I belonged. He said things like, "I see you, Tess," and for a girl who'd always felt invisible, those words hit deep. When he asked me to move in with him after 5 months, I didn't hesitate. Then came the offer to join his startup's marketing team. Why chase freelance gigs when we could build something together? He said, "It's a family business now." I was flattered. I was in love. So I said yes. I left behind the scrappy independence I'd worked so hard for, thinking I was stepping into something bigger. But what I didn't realize was how small my world was about to become soon. Everything revolved around him. His company, his friends, his routines. My friendships slowly slipped away. Missed birthdays, unanswered texts, declined invites. Liam said people from my old life didn't get it, that they were jealous or judgmental or just plain drama. I skipped my mother's birthday twice. The first time, he said we couldn't fly home because of a pitch meeting. The second time, he convinced me she was being too emotional. "You're not a little girl anymore, Tessa," he'd say, as if growing up meant letting go of where I came from. Looking back now, the red flags are so clear. The way he always made me second-guess myself. The way every disagreement ended with me apologizing. The way he'd say things like, "You're overthinking again," or "You're lucky I'm patient." He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. His control came in softer forms. A raised eyebrow, a disappointed sigh, a smile that felt like a threat. He made me believe I was the one who needed fixing. But back then, I thought it was love. I thought devotion meant compromise. That building a life together meant folding mine into his. I thought needing someone was romantic. I didn't see that he was slowly rewriting my story, making me forget I ever had one of my own. By the time he left, I couldn't even recognize the girl in the mirror. But that girl wasn't gone. She was just waiting. And she was about to remember exactly who she was. It all fell apart on a Thursday night. Just another quiet evening in the apartment Liam and I shared. The one I used to think felt like home. He was in the shower, humming some Drake song under the water like he didn't have a care in the world. I was curled up on the couch, scrolling aimlessly, trying to distract myself from the weird distance that had crept between us lately. Something had been off. He'd been working late, always on edge, more sarcastic than usual. But whenever I asked, he'd brush it off with a kiss and a quick "you worry too much." His phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. I wouldn't have looked twice, but the preview caught my eye. A blurry thumbnail of someone in lingerie and a caption that stopped my breath cold. Asterisk last night. Asterisk sent via airdrop. I froze. I waited for him to come out. When he did, wrapped in a towel, steam still clinging to his skin, I held up his phone and said, calmly, "What is this?" He didn't even flinch, just smirked. "Spam. People send weird stuff all the time. You really gonna freak out over some random thirst trap?" He laughed, tossed the towel over his shoulder, and added, "You're being paranoid again, Tess. Seriously, it's embarrassing." Something in me, something that had been asleep for years, suddenly woke up. It was like the moment you realize a door you thought was locked has been wide open. The whole time, I didn't say anything, just nodded slowly, turned, and walked straight to his office. The iPad was still synced to his texts. I hadn't touched it in months. He always made me feel silly for needing passwords or access. Said it was about trust. But now, the screen lit up with a truth I couldn't unsee. There it was. Dozens of texts. Her name was Cassidy. She was 23. New client, he'd said last week. Hired for PR. But their conversations weren't about work. They were about nights in hotels. Inside jokes I'd never heard. Nicknames he'd never given me. Photos. Voice notes. When are you telling her? I hate pretending we're just business. Miss you already. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My hands shook. But I waited. Waited until he came in, towel gone, t-shirt on, smug look still plastered across his face. I held up the iPad. Cassidy? I asked. Quiet. Cold. He looked at the screen, then at me. He didn't even bother to fake surprise. Didn't deny it. Didn't lie. Just exhaled like I was being difficult. Tessa, he said, with a tone I'll never forget. Come on. You're too emotional for this life. You don't get how the game works. I needed someone who gets it. You were just comfortable. Safe. You'll regret losing me. Then he walked out, no apology. No guilt. No second glance. I stood in the middle of our living room, that iPad still glowing in my hands, feeling everything and nothing all at once. Our life, our home, our business, our dog, all built around him, now dissolved in a single evening. He took everything. The startup. His name was on the papers. Mine wasn't. The rent. I'd been trusting him to pay it from our joint account, which he'd quietly emptied a week ago. The savings. They were always in his name. I had nothing. Not even Benny, the golden retriever we picked out together on my birthday 2 years ago. He'd taken him, too. Said it'd be less disruptive for the dog. I sat on the floor, surrounded by shattered life. The walls we painted together. The shelf of fashion books I once believed marked the start of my career. The closet still full of his shirts. It all felt like a lie. He hadn't just broken my heart. He'd erased my existence from the life I helped him build. But that night, as I sat in the silence he left behind, something settled in me. Not grief, not anger, something colder, sharper, a resolve. If he thought I was too emotional, too weak, too dependent to survive without him, then he had no idea what I was capable of. Because this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. I spiraled after Liam walked out. I had no idea where to begin. The apartment we shared. I couldn't afford it alone. Within 2 weeks, I was packing what little I had left into 2 suitcases and dragging them up 5 flights of stairs to my friend Olivia's walk-up in Brooklyn. Her couch became my bed, and her cat became the only living thing to greet me in the morning. I spent my days applying for marketing jobs, anything in branding, design, social. But every email felt like it went into a black hole. My resume had a 4-year hole labeled creative director, Liam's company. But the truth was, nothing I did there had my name on it. He made sure of that. Meanwhile, Liam was in TULUM, I know, because social media made it impossible not to know. Cassidy, the client, was now the co-star of his feed. Sand, cocktails, underwater kisses, and vague captions like building empires and memories. It felt like he was gloating. Like every perfectly framed shot was curated to remind me just how easily I'd been replaced. And the worst part, everyone around me thought it was just another breakup. You'll bounce back. He was trash. Anyway, just move on. They meant well, but none of them saw what had really happened. This wasn't just heartbreak. This was erasure. I had folded my identity into Liam's world until there was nothing left that was purely mine. No career, no savings, no creative work I could claim. I'd given it all to him. And now he was thriving while I slept on a couch, invisible in my own story. Then came the night that changed everything. Olivia was scrolling Instagram next to me, both of us half watching a true crime doc, when she suddenly said, "Tess, you need to see this." It was a brand launch. Cassidy's brand, apparently. Some clean skincare meets wellness thing with pastel tones and minimalist vibes. But what stopped me cold wasn't the soft-lit photos or the overpriced face oil. It was the logo. It was mine. Not just similar. Identical to a concept I had drawn up months ago. A design I had pitched for a different campaign that Liam said was too abstract. He must have sent her my files. She'd tweaked the font. But the layout, the palette, the hand-drawn monogram, all mine. My gut twisted. But I didn't cry this time. Something clicked. I didn't scream. I didn't rage post or DM her or fall apart again. I just stared at the screen for a long time. And then I opened a blank page in my sketchbook. The next day, I bought a domain name. **TM on row studio**. I opened a new Instagram and TikTok under the name **T. Monroe**. A play on my initials, something clean and gender neutral. No history, no baggage, just potential. I didn't know exactly what I was doing yet, but I had one thing I hadn't had in years: freedom. I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't have to pitch my ideas to someone who'd circle back. I had my voice again, and I was going to use it. I started with what I knew: minimalism. Mood boards, color theory. I posted short videos of my process, time lapses of branding sketches, behind the scenes of packaging ideas, typography tutorials. I recorded soft, haunting voiceovers, not with my face, just my hands, my thoughts. I spoke about heartbreak, about betrayal, about what it felt like to lose yourself in someone else's dream. I never said Liam's name. I didn't need to. My captions were quiet but sharp. What do you do when the person who took everything now profits off your silence? Healing looks like rediscovering the art they said wasn't worth anything. Minimalist design from someone who rebuilt herself with nothing. And people listened. At first, it was a trickle. A few comments, then a repost from a design page, then a shout-out from a mental health account. Within weeks, I had 10,000 followers, then 50, then 100. Designers, artists, survivors, people who'd been burned by partners, bosses, collaborators. People who saw themselves in my quiet fury. And for the first time in years, I felt seen. Every late night I'd spent editing for Liam. Every pitch I ghostwrote under his name. Every deck he presented as his own. It had all trained me for this. I knew how to build a brand from the ground up. I knew what went viral, what stuck. How to create a visual story that made people feel. Only this time, I wasn't doing it for someone else's ego. This time, I was doing it for me. And while Liam posted poolside selfies with captions about legacy, I was quietly building something real. Something that didn't need his approval. his platform, or his lies. What he stole from me, my work, my time, my voice, I was taking back, piece by piece. And I was just getting started. 6 months later, I woke up to 14 missed calls, 3 dozen unread DMs, and a notification that changed everything. Asterisk BuzzFeed tagged you in a post. Asterisk I clicked it. Heart racing. And there it was. A full feature titled, Asterisk 10 female founders who turned pain into power. Asterisk right in the middle of the article was my brand. Asterisk T. Monroe Designs asterisk. Highlighted for its viral growth, signature, minimalist aesthetic, and raw, emotional storytelling. They even quoted one of my captions. Asterisk sometimes the best revenge is rediscovering yourself so fully they no longer recognize the woman they betrayed. Asterisk that morning, my inbox flooded with collaboration offers. Journalists, influencers, brand managers. One name stood out. Asterisk Archer and May Capital asterisk. An investment firm that, according to LinkedIn, had recently partnered with Liam's startup. The message was from a young associate named Cam. He gushed over my vision, called me the next big thing in brand identity, and said their firm was looking to partner with emotionally intelligent creatives with momentum. I recognized the tone. Polished, predatory, opportunistic. Still, I replied, asterisk would love to hear more. Let me know when you're available for a call. Asterisk we scheduled a Zoom for Friday morning. I didn't wear anything flashy, just a clean, black turtleneck, minimal makeup, and my signature initials, asterisk T, them, asterisk, on a delicate gold chain. I lit a candle, turned my camera on, and waited. The meeting opened with small talk. Cam introduced a few other attendees, and then, suddenly, the screen split, and there he was, Liam. His face didn't just drop, it cracked. He leaned forward, squinting, confused. I didn't flinch. I just smiled, calm, composed, entirely in control. Good to see you again, Liam, I said smoothly, like I was greeting any other stranger from the past. He blinked, mouth half open, like his brain couldn't compute what was happening. Tessa, Cam, completely unaware, kept talking. Oh, you two know each other? I stayed professional. We've crossed paths. Then I shared my deck. No edge in my voice, no sarcasm, just the polished truth, the branding strategy, the numbers, the vision. I clicked through slides Liam used to ask me to design behind closed doors. Now they were mine. He didn't say a word the whole time, just stared. When the call ended, I thanked them for their time. I told them I'd think about the offer. Then I opened TikTok. The video was short, just a voiceover with soft music and a few clips of my design process, my sketches, and a blurred shot of me sipping coffee by the window. The caption read, asterisk 6 months ago, I was told I'd regret leaving him. Now he watches my stories every day. Asterisk it exploded. Within hours, it had over 1 million views. Women in the comments wrote paragraphs about narcissists, about stolen work, about survival. Creators stitched it. Therapists quoted it. Even a few celebrities liked it. My site crashed from traffic. Every product I offered, brand kits, workshops, digital templates, sold out. I was getting emails from venture capitalists, publishing houses, podcast hosts. Everyone wanted to know who asterisk T. Monroe asterisk really was. And Liam. He texted that night, asterisk Tessa, can we talk? Asterisk I stared at the message for a full minute. then locked my phone and left it on read. No anger, no need for closure, just silence, the kind of silence that speaks louder than any scream ever could. Sometimes I still think about her, the girl I was the night he left, the one who sat on the cold hardwood floor, surrounded by empty picture frames and broken promises, whispering apologies into the silence as if she'd done something wrong. She begged him to stay, thinking that love was something you proved through sacrifice, through shrinking yourself just enough to be easy to hold. I look back at her now with so much tenderness, not shame, because she loved deeply, but sorrow, because she believed loyalty meant losing herself to keep someone else whole. That version of me no longer exists. Now, I wake up in a space that's mine, not just the apartment, but the air I breathe, the choices I make, the work I create. I pay my own rent. I fund my own dreams. I don't ask for permission anymore. I'm not waiting for validation or for someone to clap for me before I move. I don't need a man's money or mentorship to feel powerful. I am financially independent, emotionally grounded, and creatively limitless. I'm building an empire with soft hands and steel in my spine. And Liam, I don't want him back. I don't want to make him jealous, or hurt him, or drag his name through the dirt. Even though I could. I thought revenge would taste sweet. But the truth is, I lost the appetite. What I craved wasn't payback. It was peace. And I have that. Now, the real power wasn't in exposing him, it was in outgrowing him. My audience didn't follow me because I aired dirty laundry or called out a narcissist. They followed me because I told the truth about heartbreak, about rebuilding, about what it feels like to lose everything you thought was yours and still find a way to stand back up. What started as a brand became a sisterhood, a movement. Women from all over the world saw themselves in me. Not just the fall, but the rise. And Liam? He still watches my stories, every post, every launch, every quiet victory I never announce, just live. I used to think closure was a conversation, a final reckoning, an apology wrapped in a bow. But now I know, closure is choosing not to reply. It's letting someone see you shine from a distance they created. It's building a life so full, their absence doesn't echo anymore. That's my ending, not his regret, my peace. People always ask if I miss him, if there are nights when I lie awake wondering what could have been, if we just tried harder, held on longer, loved better. And I always tell them the truth. I don't miss him, not even a little. I miss the version of me who still believed in him. The girl who looked at him like he hung the stars, who thought she was lucky to be chosen. The girl who thought love was supposed to hurt sometimes, and that maybe being invisible was just part of growing up. But she's gone now, and I don't mourn her. I evolved from her. She was a necessary chapter, but not the whole story. Because the woman I am now doesn't beg. She doesn't bend to be loved. She doesn't shrink to make someone else feel tall. She builds. She leads. She creates from the ashes of what was meant to break her. She knows her worth, not because someone finally told her, but because she remembered it on her own. My name is Tessa Moore. I'm 28 years old, and no, I never regretted losing him, but I know for a fact he regrets losing me.